Hi, I'm Jay with Kirtan. We make the Twister line of trimmers. Today I'm going to show you the T6. So the T6 was designed for home growers and small cultivators. It's our prosumer version of our other products. So the T2 was our first trimmer, fairly large. T4 was next, a little bit smaller. And then we came with a T6. It's a very compact unit, a lot of industrial design. Looks kind of like an HP printer or a small home printer. There's a vacuum system that attaches to it and pulls air. You add flour in this end and it comes out this end. There's a tumbler inside that spins, and I'll get into that in a sec. So it's a single piece flow machine, so that means one piece in, one piece out. The advantage of that is you get to check the quality as you're processing. Unlike some machines which are batch, where you have to wait till the batch is done to see the end result. So you can make changes on the fly. This setup is scalable, and it was designed to be very user-friendly, meaning the machine comes apart very easily with no tools. As for capacity or throughput, the machine will do 18 pounds an hour wet or 5 pounds an hour dry. So it's a multi-purpose machine. It can do moisture content from 5% all the way up to fully hydrated. Now there's advantages to that. It just makes it very versatile in the sense that some dry trimmers require a fairly dry product. This doesn't. This machine allows you to work in a full moisture range. So this machine was designed with quality in mind. Not only the quality of the flour coming out of the end of the machine, but actually the product itself. You can see just the weight of it. It's a sturdy device, but it also is easy to carry and handle. So you can take this machine apart in 30 seconds or less with no tools. Now, why is that important? Well, mainly for cleaning. Cleaning is really important on trimming machines. And if you have to spend time with nuts and bolts and tools, it won't get cleaned properly. With this machine, super easy. Storage and portability are important for the home cultivator. The dimensions of this machine are 10 by 11 by 30, weighing in at 42 pounds. So before I strip the machine down and look inside, let's look at the outside. On this end, we have clickers. There's adjustment clickers. They spin. What they do is they adjust the blade, the stationary blade, up and down on the rotary blade. Now that allows you to get very close contact of blades, and it makes a very sharp scissor-like cut. Next, we have this brush. This brush does three things. It spins against the tumbler and knocks flowers that get stuck in the tumbler back in. The second thing it does is it cleans the outside of the tumbler. The third thing is if you're trimming wet, you spray water on this brush. That water transfers to the tumbler, which then transfers to the inside of the tumbler, which stops flour from sticking. Now, there's some teeth in here that are there, so when leaf gets stuck to this brush, the teeth pull the leaf out of the brush. On top, we have a clear perforated lid that allows air to flow through into the machine from the vacuum system. It's designed so you can't get your fingers in there to protect the operator. On the top as well, we have some latches that release the lid. We have the hopper. It comes off very easily. Here we have the control box. Control box dismounts and slides off. I'll show you that shortly. On, off. The air inlet that we attach the vacuum system to. The chute. Now this comes off quite quickly as well. Belt cover pops off. And on the bottom, we have rubber feet. Now these are designed to make sure the machine stays very stable. These green tabs above, I'll show you what these do when I take the machine apart. And last but not least, the adjustable feet. The machine can be adjusted up or down with the push of a button to any height you need. Now this is important because as you add flour, the tilt of the machine controls the speed the flour falls through the machine. So more tilt, the faster it moves through. So the T6 comes apart in 30 seconds or less. Let's see if I can prove it. So next we'll put the T6 back together and walk through some key features. So we'll start with the blade cartridge. This is the Helix blade or reel blade. On one end we have a gear drive, so a gearbox. On the other end we have a pulley that is driven by the control box. Inside we have this rotary blade that is nitride hardened steel. So there's nothing that will chip or come off this blade. Some products out there have a painted blade, and that will often end up in your product, and then under that paint is exposed steel that will then rust. So when you wash this or when you clean this piece of the machine, make sure you dry it, either with a high pressure air or a rag. You just want it to stay dry. So this drops in quite easily. That's it, it's in. I forgot to mention on the ends, there's these rollers. Now, these rollers are really important because they allow the tumbler to spin very closely to the blades. The closer and more perfect the tumbler rolls against the blades, the better the cut. This is something that differentiates us from most companies out there in the sense that we use very high quality product or very high quality parts. This is a bearing, it's very precision. It's not a cam follow or something that wears out. The problem with a cam follower or other rollers out there is Keith gets in them, they get stuck, then the tumbler spins, puts a flat spot in it, and then the tumbler bounces, and then the tumbler will start hitting the blades. Not ideal, that's why we use really high-end rollers. Next we'll put in the blade. This is the stationary blade, call it the bed knife. On one end there's these lobes. Those lobes need to be pointing down. These green tabs pointing up or forward. These clickers are what adjust the blade's closeness or precision. Now it's important you don't force this in. It should just fall in nicely. If it's not going in, the lobes aren't pointing down. So it's in, lock this back. And now I'm just gonna show you if we can cut paper here. I haven't adjusted it yet. I might need to make an adjustment. So it didn't cut the first try. So I'm gonna add a little bit of tightness here. Still didn't cut. Now it's cutting. Perfectly cutting paper. So the blades will make a ticking sound when the machine runs. You can run it with no tick, a little bit of tick, a lot of tick. Really, you want it to just make sure the blades make contact. The contact is what makes the cut. It's like scissors. If you have sloppy scissors or scissors with a bolt that's loose, they won't cut well. You basically want nice tight scissors. That's what's happening here. Next we will put on, let's talk about the tumbler next. So we call this the extreme tumbler. It's not like our typical tumblers. You'll notice there's a lot less material in it, a lot less metal. So more open area. That's important because it allows more flour to poke through the holes. Now, we're able to get away with this on this tumbler because the diameter of the tumbler is much smaller, so it makes it more rigid. It's about 12% less metal than our standard tumbler and about 25% less than a competitor. Now, that means the machine's gonna work 12 to 25% better. It's very important, or this piece of the machine is very important, and it really affects the overall speed and quality of the product coming out. So this is just a really important piece. Now, it's not indestructible. If you were to hit it here, it's gonna dent it. You drop it on end, you could dent it. You really have to take care of this. It's a really important piece of the machine. On the end there's some gears. These gears sit into this gearbox. So you wanna make sure when you set it in, they sit in there properly. But before I do that, I'm gonna put the belt and the control box on. So we'll start with the control box. It's air cooled. It's not designed to get wet, so don't get it wet. It hangs on this end. There's a ledge it hooks onto. So once it's on, slide it over, green tab stays out. We add the belt. This is an important piece as well. You want to make sure that the belt is on properly and the teeth are set in the belt. If it's not set properly, the belt will spin, or the pulleys will spin and burn the belt out. So you want to make sure it's set properly. Once it's set properly, you tension it by pushing the control box out and locking it with this green tab that goes parallel to the frame. Belt cover goes on. It's held on by magnets. Shoot. Now back to the tumbler. Again, there's these gears here. Make sure that the gears land or mesh properly. So I can feel they're meshed. Don't force it. Hopper. Make sure I line up the holes. Hopper set. Lid has some tabs on it. Those tabs lock into these holes. Slide the tabs in. Everything's locked back on. She's ready to go. So as with all of our T line of trimmers, this machine comes with a vacuum system. So I'll show you that now. There's an air port on the side of the machine. And this is the blower. So you'll notice on this end of the blower is a rubber hose cuff. That connects to the machine, no clamps required. Now, you'll notice there's a airflow diverter on the end. This allows you to divert air through the holes into the vacuum as opposed to going through the machine. The advantage of that is if you want to reduce the suction on your flower, so if you want it to pull less on the flower, you open these holes up, it diverts the air. It keeps the airstream moving really fast, carrying the trim through the hose. The same on the other end, rubber cuff, and there's a grate there. You have to check this grate if you're trimming wet or dry to ensure that it doesn't get plugged up. Some people cut this out. We don't recommend it for safety. Now we have the white bags. These are 300 micron is the inside bag, 40 micron is the outside bag. The 300 micron bag captures the majority of the trim, and the outside bag, the 40 micron, captures the majority of the keef. We have an additional 70 micron bag available as well to capture different grades of keef. This system usually sits on the floor, so it stays out of your way. So next we'll go through the operation of the machine. So the vacuum system's connected, hose is connected, everything's plugged in. You start by elevating one end of the machine. Now this allows the flower to flow through the machine faster. The goal is to have it go through the machine as fast as possible with a very quality trim. Now, you can speed that up by adding flower faster, but we recommend you wait until the tumbler has a section clear and as you add the next handful. Handfuls I'd start at every 4 seconds. The diverter allows you to change how hard the vacuum sucks the flower through the tumbler. If you have a very larfy flower or an airy flower, we recommend you open this up to start. That'll ensure it doesn't pull the flower through the tumbler too hard and cut too much off. Now with all machines, it's good flower in, good flower out. You can't put a larfy, airy, low-grade bud into this and expect it's gonna come out the other end pristine. Good in equals good out. I'm just gonna touch on the tumbler very quickly. The tumbler in the T6 is 4 inches in diameter, so it's fairly small. But that's important for this machine because it's designed to have the flower roll very fast within the tumbler. A larger tumbler means the flower rolls up and around, wasting time because there's only one set of blades. So with that small diameter, the flower rolls fast, changing orientation, getting trimmed on all sides, and it flows through quite fast. Now, the tumbler composition or design is stainless steel. There's no coatings, there's no Teflon, there's no paint, there's nothing that's gonna flake off, end up in your trim or in your finished flower. There's no wires that'll come off and get tangled up in blades and cut or jammed. It's very simple and works very well. So you got the T6, you're happy with it. Maybe you're using it to trim your smalls, you're doing bigs by hand, and you decide that you want to go faster. The T6 was designed to connect multiple units in line to scale up. Now, on the dry side, the machine will do about 5 pounds an hour, 18 pounds an hour wet. Now, when you add a second machine, it doesn't double the number, it actually increases it more than that. So it doesn't go to 10 pounds an hour, it goes to 11 to 12 pounds an hour. You get efficiency as you add more machines. So I'll show you how you do that now. We'll start by lowering the machine down. we'll take the chute off. So you got yourself a second T6. Maybe it's yours, maybe it's a friend's, and you want to get your day done faster. You start by releasing this plate. Drop it back down. And now we're going to connect the machines together. Push that pin back in. Now you have two machines. But say that's still not fast enough. And you have another friend with a T6. Pull that pin out. Drop it down. So this angle is okay, but you'll probably want it steeper. So just add a block to increase the angle. Now you're not going 5, 10, 15 pounds an hour. You're really going 18 to 20. So this is a triple T6. I've never seen it more than a triple, but there's nothing stopping you. So one of the outcomes of the triple setup or tandem setup or anything more than one for that matter is you'll get different grades of trim through each machine. First machine will trim the bulk of the big leaf, fan leaves. The second machine, smaller leaves. Third machine, more of the sugar leaves, a tighter trim. Now, it's important that the flower still flows through as fast as possible, so you may want to elevate the height even more than this. So that's a wrap on the ins and outs of the T6. It's a very versatile machine, trimming wet or dry. It's very fast and very easy to maintain. Now, know we have your back. We're available 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for tech support. There's many ways of contacting us, and it comes with a 3-year warranty. So you have peace of mind.